afternoon. Today I'll be running through how I made this small grab styled piano track that uses a lot of really nice sounds, but actually is quite basic when you look at it from this angle. There aren't a huge amount of elements, and it's especially the drums are super simple. It's more melodically based sort of rhythms. So yeah, let's just get straight into it. So I started off here with this piano loop. So yeah, it's this rhythm here, which is hold on, just give me 1 second. So this is a really simple sort of chord progression where I made this loop, making a couple of chords, and actually a lot of these notes are just repeated an octave up, which is how I sort of based it for majority of this track. So it started off with this little A chord, where it's on the A and it's on the C sharp here. So it's pretty much just, as you can see, it's just fifths. You can, if you count up from this note, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 and 5, and then here you can see if I put it an octave up, it's just repeated up there, literally just a fifth, and then down here is the main chord. So it's a pretty big chord progression, but it's actually not too difficult once you get started with the bass chords. It's essentially just these chords here. So you can see all these chords that are highlighted. That's what I use as the basis for the track. And then up here it's pretty much just flare notes that play over it. And then I also added in these bass notes down here. So you can see it's F sharp that goes up to the A, and then it's C sharp that goes down to the B, and then it's D that goes down to the C sharp again, and then another D that goes, as the final note, goes up to the E. And you can actually see that I'm using the stock Logic piano, the Yamaha grand piano, but you can use, I mean, listen, a lot of people say use M1, and I don't agree with them. That sound is incredible. But I think recently people have been swaying away from that classic house piano sound a little bit, and being a bit more creative with sort of like classical piano that's just highly processed. So you can see here there's a lot of effects on it. I put on OTT at first just to make it more punchy, but you can see it's actually just a sampler at the end of the day, which is very interesting because it just means you can grab any piano sample from anywhere. So even if you don't have these plugins, you can just use a sampler that has the let's say the M1 house piano sound included on it. And I mean, I was playing around with some other plugins. So one that I would recommend if you want a nice little free piano sound is Meat Beats, Micro Keys or Micro Piano. They both have really good piano sounds. But I ultimately, after trying out a bunch of these different, like I even tried Trident, I think I tried for a bit. I tried creating some stuff through like Hybrid, and created some stuff using Expand, which also has this bank of like 50 piano sounds. But at the end of the day, I landed on the stock Logic one, which is very funny. I just thought it sounded a bit nice and a bit closer to what Grab has been using recently. And I chucked some OTT on it, depth at 41. I upped the time a lot because it's sort of, I think the time is sort of related to reverb. Brought up the highs, brought up the mids, and I brought the lows down just because I didn't want this low note punching through, because I do have a bass. and then everything else is pretty much the same. And then I put some tull reverb on it, lowered this wet quite a bit because it's already reverbing from the OTT. You can see that's without OTT. So it's already got some reverb on it, so I thought it just needed a little bit extra. Then I put some Baby Comeback on it, kept it on the wide setting because I wanted it to be quite a big sound. This is the main sound of the entire track. Wet at 25. See, it reverbs quite a bit even when I pause it. And then I put, this is very interesting, I actually found this quite recently, but Surge XT, which is one of my favorite free synths at the moment. They actually have an effects plugin that comes along with it. And I was playing around with this, and it has some nice distortion plugins. It really has everything you could want. I mean, this is kind of crazy that I only just recently found it, and it's just got so much on it. So you can see I put the bonsai effects on it. Gain boost amount is the same. Bass boost 25, tilt gentle 25, 25, negative 12. And it's a very clean little distortion. And then put some wide on it. Another free plugin. I'm telling you, you guys don't need to pay for paid plugins. Free ones do the job just fine. Wider, put it at 27%. You can see it just makes it wider in the mix. And then I put some EQ on it. 57, low cut. Lowered this lower area because I really don't want those lower notes punching through, and they are quite predominant. And then just boosted everything above the 680 region by 3 dB. And it creates like a weirdly thin but wide sound by using all of this, because you're distorting it to make it punchy. Then you're using all of these like reverby and echo plugins to make it wider, and the wider plugin, and then you're EQing it, all of this low end out. It creates quite a nice sound. It's punchy and wide, but somehow fits into the mix very well. And then I used Diva. This is the first one of my only paid plugins that I use regularly. And I just copied over the pattern and put a synth on it. And I'm pretty sure it has the exact same effects actually. Very similar at least. Yeah, I think I copied over the exact same preset and bounced it out to make this one. Yeah, so it's really nice together, fits in very well. And then I added these two little piano parts on top of each other at different, again, same piano preset, straight off Logic. You can use whatever you have stock in your DAW, or you can use a plugin. OTT with the same settings as the other piano. Tull reverb with the same settings. Same setting, same setting again. So it's literally just copying them over straight from both of these two. But I took off the channel EQ because there's no low parts anyways, and I didn't want to boost the highs. So I'll just give it a listen to the top one. And I also panned these two. So they're the same thing, just an octave down. And it creates a really wide sort of sound together. And I use this as a lead for the song, and it's this pattern where it goes C sharp, up here to the E, F sharp, and that's an A, and then back down to a G sharp. And then all the way back down to the C sharp here, and that just repeats over and over and over, doesn't change. And again, just brought this down because I wanted to accentuate the top bit, because this is quite a mid bass sound, and so is this. And this really just fills it out and makes it really nice. I really like this idea of doing a repeated lead, 1 bar lead. It just creates some really nice tension throughout the track. And yeah, literally super simple lead. And this is what I did for the bass. Again, another D preset. This is what it sounds like without anything. Really clean. It's a short and square preset, and I just chuck some OTC on it. 32 depth, up the lows, even ups it on this part here. Mids up that a little bit, kept this knob the same though, and I just lowered these highs by a considerable amount. There you go. And then I think I just did Chow preset for this distortion. So Chow is another preset in Surge. Threshold at negative 24 dB, ratio 1:10, flip off, mix 100. That could just be the stock preset. Another extra layer of punch there. And then I just did some heavy EQing. Cut it at around 40. Boosted this 40 to almost 200 region by 5 dB. But then I brought down this 100 region because I wanted this area here and this area here to punch up, and then boosted this a tiny bit by literally half a dB, and then a 8K cut over there, and then I just chucked some sidechain on it, and that's it for the pattern. I pretty much just went here from this note here, which is the F sharp, down to the C sharp, and then back, and then up here, and it's the same rhythm that just pretty much follows the bass notes of the piano. Super simple, and then I just bounced it out. That's pretty much it for those elements, and now we can just move on to the drum elements. Clap, straight off, splice. It's a house sample that you can see that it only started around this area. There's a little bit of delay before then, so I just shortened this quite a bit to make it more snappy, so it's much shorter hit. No processing on that, don't think it needs. And then just another simple hat, straight off splice once again. Shortened it. It didn't need to be cut here anymore. I probably could have done something like that, but I think it's quite nice having a little bit of delay. Again, no processing on that. And then I just put a kick. This kick originally was quite a high kick, so I transposed it down by 1 or 2, and then just bounced it out to make the full loop, just so that when I arrange it, it's a lot easier. And then I just chucked in some of these top loops here. So yeah, very nice, straight off my sample pack. Again, plugging the Patreon, lowest tier. $1 for 5 top loops you can use in anything. Literally any form of electronic music you can probably use these. No processing needed. Sounds great. Really nice. And then this is pretty much what it all sounds like together. It's a very simple little track. It's mainly these melodic elements you need to put a lot of effort into. The drums are very simple. There's only 5 elements here. Yeah, so it's really nice. And that's pretty much it. The only thing that I would say is, yeah, just make sure you get these. This is sort of that Love Reigns or one of his more recent ones. I believe it's Love Is Everything or something like that. That's got this piano sort of vibe that's layered with a synth underneath. And I'd say that's something that you might not really hear initially, but once you listen to the track carefully with the piano, you can hear that it's layered with some sort of synth behind it. Probably not this exact thing, but I thought that this fit very well. And it just makes the piano sound more interesting. And then the piano lead again. And yeah, that's pretty much all I can say for it. It's very simple, very, very nice sounding track, and it's a really and then from here you can just add vocals, you can add literally whatever you want. It's really about these basic elements here, which is bass, drums, of course, very basic drums, but then the piano, synth, and the piano lead. Really getting those elements right will already create an elite basis for your track. And then from there, it's mainly just about adding whatever you think fits in, but keeping it quite simple. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this one. And again, these top loops are available hard groove pack on my Patreon for $1. Thanks for watching.